Hey guys, John Muir from The John Muir Show here. I actually managed to not say Restoring Reason with John Muir. I'm really happy as we're going through the transition, but it's still the same program as you always know and love. And don't worry, the after show video going absolutely nowhere either, because we always have plenty of stuff to talk about that we just can't always get to on air. And today we spent a lot of time talking about everything surrounding President Trump when it comes to James Comey and Andrew McCabe and Loretta Lynch and Bob Mueller. But there was one piece that we weren't able to touch on, and that had to do with comments from a certain Democratic congressman. Now, you see, of course, Jim Comey, in releasing his new book tomorrow, has been previewing it for the past few days now. Sunday night, he does this interview on ABC where he speaks to his best friend George Stephanopoulos for something that's not hard-hitting whatsoever, basically a love fest the entire time they're on TV together. But a few days prior to kicking off that media blitz with all these interviews, he, of course, gives some copies of the book ahead of time to some of his liberal media friends so they can go ahead and try and push some positive aspects of it out there before the full book hits the shelves for you and me to see. And one of the comments that he had made particularly attacked President Trump and his marriage. Well, of course, when you do something like that, you can expect the other person's probably going to be firing back, which is what President Trump did, calling Comey an absolute slimeball. Now, of course, that seems like a natural response. Somebody insults you, you insult them. Well, it didn't seem too natural for Connecticut Congressman, the Democrat Jim Himes. Himes came out and said that people are going to rot in hell for criticizing the integrity of people like Jim Comey, as well as Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Really, Jim? People are going to rot in hell for criticizing them? Because that criticism seems pretty warranted at this point. We're learning about all of the absolutely terrible things that Jim Comey did during his time as the director of the FBI that hurt you, me, and American citizens everywhere. I mean, keep in mind, this is the person who laid out the case perfectly as to why Hillary Clinton should be prosecuted to her crimes against this country for jeopardizing national security, for coming out and creating this huge double standard that says if your name's Clinton, you can get away with things that would get anybody else locked up and have the key thrown away. He was doing that. And then, of course, when it comes to Donald Trump, this is the guy, Jim Comey, who signed off on multiple of the FISA applications and renewals to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. You know what? Without any proof whatsoever. Keep in mind, the only reason, and former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe testified under oath to this, the only reason that they sought those applications was because of that Russian and British-filled lie dossier that was paid for by the Clinton campaign and the DNC, and they didn't even do their job to take the time and look and see if any of the things in that dossier were true or not. They just went and they took it to the court, and they got the ability to surveil on an American citizen who did nothing wrong. His right to privacy completely crapped on. And that's the kind of stuff that James Comey was responsible for overseeing. You're trying to tell me he did a good job, and how dare anybody criticize him? Look, people who are the high-level folks at the FBI and the DOJ, the ones that were finding out just how corrupt they were during the Obama years, these aren't people we voted for. Nobody ever went to a ballot box and cast a vote for any of these people. These are bureaucratic hacks that know that they were in a position of power, that they thought they could get away with stuff, and they just basically acted the entire time like they were above the law. They did things that none of us are allowed to do. They tried to cover it up and hide it in this collaborative effort of theirs, working alongside folks in the Obama White House and some of the top Democrats in Congress. And they're trying to do this whole thing behind our backs, us the taxpayers who fund them. And you're trying to say, well, that's all going on? How dare we ask any questions? How dare we criticize them? No. There are not two applications of the law in this country. Every American citizen, the law applies to them equally. And not only am I not going to allow people like Comey and Mueller, who's in a special counsel investigation, clearly overstepped his bounds. He can't find anything on Trump-Russia because guess what? There was no Trump-Russia collusion, as we've been saying all along, but they continue to waste millions of taxpayer dollars on this witch hunt. And now, because he can't find Trump-Russia, he goes after the president's personal life. He's more concerned, Bob Mueller, now about finding information about Trump and a porn star than he is about Trump-Russia, because he's given up on that front clearly. So you're trying to tell me people like this, who abuse the power they have, we're not only not supposed to question them, but we're supposed to say thank you and ask for more? This is just absolutely unbelievable. No. We will continue to ask questions about the people who are in power, especially the ones we have no say of putting in that position of power. So for people like Comey, for people like Mueller, no, the questions will continue to come. And if we continue to learn about corruption and shady dealings, guess what? The attacks on their character are going to continue to come as well. And you know who they have to blame? Nobody but themselves, because it was all they're doing, and it is completely warranted, my friend. That's everything that we got for today, but be sure to tune into the John Muir Show each and every weekday morning on WTAQ, WSAU, and WHBL, and follow everything John Muir Show on that show's page on the websites for WTAQ.com, WHBL.com, and WSAU.com, and be sure to follow at John Muir WTAQ on both Twitter and Facebook. That's all I've got for you today. I'm out.